Yeah.
All right. Hello. My name is Lisbeth, and these are my teammates.
Serendip.
Tyler.
Nathan.
All right. And we are group number three, and our presentation will be about Amazon. All right. So for a group introduction, we can start with Taylor.
My name's Tyler, and my major's in business administration with a focus on public administration. I've been in it 3 years now, and I don't really have any plans after graduation, just for any possible future promotions.
My name is Serendip. My major is business administration, and actually, my concentration is management. I'm in my fourth year and I graduate this fall, and I'm gonna go for my master's degree right after I graduate.
My name is Nathan. I'm a concentration in supply chain management, and I'm hoping to work in the field of supply chain after graduation.
All right. So my name is Lisbeth. I am a business admin major with a concentration in accounting. And this is my 3.5 year time here at CSUB. And I will be graduating this semester. So after graduation, I hope to get an entry-level job in accounting.
Okay, my name is Kristen, and my major is business administration with a concentration in economics. I've been at CSUB on and off for 6 years, mostly part-time or three-quarters of time. And I was the president for the Economic Student Association for 2 years. I plan to work remotely for 2 years because I have small children. And then I ultimately want to find a position as an operations manager in a company that has similar values to my own.
Hello, my name is Adrian. Um, I'm a business administration major, concentration in management. It's my fourth year. I started at BC, so it's not obviously my fourth year at CSUB, but it's been 4 years and I'm still continuing to try to get my major. I have some experience in the field that I'm going in, but I need a lot more to get where I want to be.
My desired job or occupation is water resource specialist, and I put that because it's actually what I'm doing right now.
My desired job or occupation in the future is either like a manager or human resources manager.
Mine would be a supply chain manager. There are a lot of jobs and opportunities for it here in the Central Valley.
I either want to go into private accounting or do auditing.
I'd like to be an operations manager.
I'd like to be human resource specialist or director as I get further.
So the summary report of the desired job occupation from the test that we took is to have knowledge of public water systems. The skills needed are a lot of computer application skills like Excel or AutoCAD, which is drafting, GIS. Be able to problem solve, analyze data, plan for development, do reports. I've got a lot of interface with the public, a lot of email and project coordination and management. And for the position, a bachelor's is preferred. The wages depends on where you're at on the position. It ranges anywhere from 50,000 to 200,000, and it has a high outlook for the future.
So the knowledge required is personnel and human resources, English language, administration and management, education, training, customer and personal service. Some of the skills are active listening, coordination, reading comprehension, management, personnel resources, and abilities, oral expression, oral comprehension, written comprehension, speech clarity, written expression. And the work activities would be communicating with supervisors, peers, and subordinators, resolving conflicts and negotiating with others, and making decisions and solving problems. The work context is emails, telephones, conversations, contact with others, work with or contribute to work group or team, and education is you need a bachelor's degree. And wage and employment trends will depend on the level you're in or your job, but roughly 67.32 cents hourly or 140,030 annual.
All right, so for a supply chain manager, they need to know proper staffing, storing, unloading, managing warehouses, receiving, shipping. They need to be able to implement and monitor key performance indicators or other metrics used in the company. They'll often have to be familiar with SQLs and then some enterprise resource planning softwares like Microsoft or Oracle. And then they also just need to be able to be good with people management and also solving problems that may arise, along with data analytics.
All right, so my summary report is auditing and accounting requires strong communication, thinking, and decision-making skills. Knowledge in finance, math, and management, and customer service is also essential to support comprehension and logical reasoning within the accounting departments because you do have to communicate with one another in every single detail. Yes, you can work individually in this area, but it is better to work as a team.
So for operations manager, the detailed work activities were to analyze data to inform operational decisions or activities, analyze financial records to improve efficiency, direct organizational operations, projects, or services, which is my favorite, direct sales, marketing, or customer service activities, and prepare staff schedules or work assignments. That's also another one I'm interested in.
For human resource in any of the positions, you need personnel and human resource skills. That's to know your employees. You also need administrative procedures, like office procedures is also the same thing. Administration and management, you have to know the English language, customer and personnel service as well. The skills you need is obviously speaking, active listening, reading comprehension is a big one, critical thinking, writing, and the education just requires a bachelor's unless you want to become someone higher. For results of the Big Five personality trait test that we all took, I scored uh, what I scored. I kind of agree with what they said, but it didn't really hit me personal because it had me like doing labor work or fixing things. So I didn't kind of like disagree with that.
For the Big Five personality trait that we took, I feel like it did accurately reflect and encompass my personality, and I scored the highest in the Factor 4 category, which was consciousness.
Yeah, I also agreed with the results. It makes sense because I'm old enough to kind of know how I am, do a little self-evaluation. My highest was also for the conscientiousness, and then intellect and what was it, agreeableness were really close behind it in the tie.
So I scored higher in conscientiousness, and I with those results because I am hardworking and disciplined in getting what job I need to complete, and I'm reliable as well.
I scored high in extroversion, which I can agree with because it said that I am a person who likes to take risks, who's always talking, and so on. And I do agree with that because that is me, but I can also disagree because I am mostly quiet unless you talk to me. Unless you talk to me, I am not very talkative.
Okay, so I scored highest on factors 2 and 4. That's emotional stability and conscientiousness. And I agreed with it because the conscientiousness described, detail orientation, um, uh, paying attention to details and hard work ethics, and that sounds a lot like me. Um, and but I typically don't prioritize like aesthetics, and so it was right on with scoring lower in those areas. Um, and I believe this test was very, very accurate.
The lesson I learned from the Big Five personality test was that personalities is a good identifier because it helps you understand yourself better, and it also helps finding talent for certain positions because every position requires different personalities, and although you could have skill set in that field, your personality really helps you do that job better than anyone else can.
I think it showed for me that different personalities can lead to different approaches and potential solutions for problems. So you need to be able to see all those different perspectives and personality types.
Along lines with Adrian and Henry, it's because we have different personalities. It doesn't prevent us from working together, but it actually, I think, strengthens the group because you have different points of view.
Going along with what my teammates said, we learned that everyone has different personality that makes them unique and that makes them their own person.
And I also agree with everyone else. Yes, there are different traits to each personality, but it makes them very unique in their own way, even though there can be very similar personalities.
I thought it was interesting to note that uh, sometimes having too much of one type of personality, uh, you could be too extreme, such as in the area of agreeableness. If you're too agreeable, you could have problems. So it's good to try to balance, but everyone has their own strengths. And I noticed that a lot of us that are getting near graduation seem to have the strength of conscientiousness because we need to be hardworking and detail oriented to complete our degrees.
All right, so for the personality test, I chose Zone 4, and the top five occupations that showed up were all medical field related, such as being a nurse, like obviously different specialized nurses. And I find that very funny because I'm an accounting major. And even though I do like talking to people, I would prefer to have my own space and work on my own. I am not a person to deal with customer service all day, that is for sure.
So for mine, I chose Zone 4 and got a long list containing a lot of jobs I would be very interested in pursuing. I liked how it showed the future brightness indicator so that I can know if that job would be available or not in the near future. Um, for instance, the meeting convention and event planner was one that I liked and was at the top of my list, and it had a bright outlook, while education and childcare administrators had a glim outlook. So I'm thinking there's, already a lot of people taking up those jobs. And it also talked about like if it had a good fit, or if it had a lower pay. It had a lot of information on there to go off of.
I chose Job Zone 5, which is extensive job preparation. The occupations and careers that showed up were arbitrators, mediators, conciliators, chief executives, education administrators, chief sustainability officers, and clergy. And yeah, I agreed with that. And I chose that because I'm preparing to do my master's degree right after I graduate, and I eventually want to end up in like a high position.
I also went for Zone 4.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. And I thought it was interesting because the top occupations were ones that I've either been involved with or are currently involved with in my career. Um, sounds like it hit the nail on the head. And I did find it interesting how it didn't work for some of my other group, but for others it was spot on.
I chose job zone 4. All the jobs that they had on there were consistent of like coaching or talent acquisition, basically identifying people and their traits. And I kind of have done that already in my job field, so it aligned well with what I was doing, and so I think it works best for me.
I chose Job Zone 5, the extensive job preparation, and this does line up for me because I think eventually I do want to end up teaching down the road after my career in supply chain management.
All right, so what we learn is that each personality type and skill belongs to a certain field of work, and that is how people tend to enjoy their job. If their personality doesn't match their job, then they probably won't have a good time working there. And I can guarantee that I am an accounting major and I do medical billing currently, and it is not something that I enjoy very much.
So I was surprised actually that even though we have the same majors, we have quite different results and career aspirations. The RASIG is extremely useful and fun for job searching and even learning about what kinds of job positions I might pursue in the future. And I plan to share this with my friends and family.
And that everyone has different personalities, which makes them make different choices and career choices. But that's what makes us unique. And regardless of that, we still get along with our peers and we still talk to them.
Like Elizabeth said, I found that personality has a lot to do with your job satisfaction. If you're good at doing something, doesn't mean that you're going to be happy doing it. So you need to find something that you can both good at and you're happy at doing. Yeah.
By using the personality test, you're able to figure out who you are. And this is good because you can identify which job would be best for you, and you can go to a certain career instead of going somewhere where you're unhappy and it doesn't fit you.
I think the takeaway is that while personality can play a big part in the different types of jobs that we would enjoy and what we excel at, it's not necessarily the end all be all of whether or not you'll enjoy or be effective at that job.
All right, so now getting started to talk about Amazon. Here's a short clip of how Jeff Bezos explains how Amazon started, and it should be really short. We can watch it now. Oh, we can hear it.
It's fine. We can continue, even if the volume's up.
Are we able to hear it?
I believe you also
Are you-
have to share the audio.
Because I was able to hear it on my end, so
It's
my
got
audio.
subtitles.
Sure.
Here, I'll just turn on the subtitle.
All right, so that was just a small explanation of how Amazon started, and then we can now go on to explain the history behind it.
So piggybacking off of that, as we saw that it started back in '94 when internet as far as wide use was very, very, very young. And back then, all they really offered was books. So you would shop for a book title, put it in your shopping cart, choose which kind of shipping you wanted, depending on how fast you wanted to get it. And that was it. It was just an online bookstore. They started expanding as other larger brick and mortar bookstores did, as they started offering music. You could buy, CDs from them or other things, other kind of electronics. And it just kept expanding from there. You want to think about like an online Barnes and Noble, how they used to be. And they have invented and pioneered certain tools on their website, like the one-click purchasing, the buy it now. They researched that one, and that's become very popular and very profitable for them, along with the personalized recommendations. You might like this, or what do you think about that? Through their algorithms. Currently, they're huge, and they dominate e-commerce. They offer cloud computing, cloud web services, Amazon Video, Amazon Music, and they've also thrown their hat into the ring for the artificial intelligence race.
All right, so talking about the legal environment of Amazon. So Amazon operates within a very complex legal environment involving a wide range of regulatory issues, including antitrust, intellectual property, labor, data privacy, taxation, and then we can also add in their seller liability, e-commerce, and digital services. This is important because Amazon faces a lot of face a lot of scrutiny over its dominant market position and alleged anti-competitive practices. Amazon is also frequently the subject of legal challenges related to labor practices and employee conditions. And as for the seller liability and such, this legal risk arise from the actions of third-party sellers on its platform, and Amazon is exposed to liability if it fails to prevent fraudulent or illegal activities. As for the internal operations, so corporate counsel is basically how Amazon legal team works across its various businesses, including cloud services, robotics, digital services, and entertainment. Amazon legal is including now who handles the transactional work, compliance, and data privacy. And for focus on innovation is basically a team that expertises in needed areas of Amazon's operations.
For human resource and diversity, I found two issues with that kind of correlate. The first one was with human resource. Amazon is currently firing thousands of employees in administrative roles and have started investing into AI work to take over these roles. And at the same time, they're also withdrawing from diversity, equity, and inclusion, which has been a big thing in the recent years. And so they're starting to also pull back, and you're starting to see job cuts. And this could be a big issue, and the importance of these issues are closely connected because the DEI initiatives are being reduced, and then you also, like I said, seeing thousands of employees laid off. It seems like that they're correlated very closely. I mean, companies have been doing this though, similar to like Target and Starbucks. You're starting to see them where their hiring processes are withdrawing from the DEI, and you're seeing major boycotts, and they're losing revenue. It's also resulting in major cuts as well in jobs because of the lost revenue. And then for the timing of this, Amazon did do it pretty well, because not only did you already have like the first companies that started pulling back from this initiative, so it kind of alleviates the potential backlash, because now you're having hundreds of companies at a time doing it as well. It's unclear to know if it's going to affect Amazon as much as it did Starbucks and Target, just because of the group of companies that are doing it now, and the first people are usually the ones that get the boycott. And so if I had any recommendations, I would say to take it slow. My first recommendation that I have is to retain current employees while phasing out DEI in the hiring process and gradually transition to an AI-driven workforce. and that is to help with backlash, and it takes more time for a company to get used to working with AI, but also firing a lot of employees and putting that work on someone else if the AI workforce isn't up yet. My second one is maintaining the diversity, equity, and inclusion in the hiring process while still transitioning to AI-driven workforce. And that's going to basically, they're both meant to prevent boycotts. I'm on the second slide, by the way.
Oh,
No worries. I just
'cause
finished it,
I didn't know
but
if
no worries. And so it helps with basically the boycott and backlash that they can get, and that's the last thing Amazon wants is to have a boycott because they aren't just a company that goes to certain locations and can pick which communities they are targeting. This is kind of like global, so you have your company in not only America but also China and Russia and all the other big countries.
next slide. Okay, so I'm going over the marketing part of Amazon. So some of the marketing issues that Amazon faces is the problems with their advertising systems, which is like inadequate reporting and analytics, and the high competition with difficulties finding the keyword optimization. They face challenges with their inventory management, so it could be like stockouts or overstocking, which leads to the loss in sales and paying high storage fees, and the potential conflicts of interest with their own products. So the key marketing function of enabling faster and more reliable delivery. So they use competitive advantage, which is prime eligibility feature, which means that the products that are sold in Amazon warehouses are eligible for Amazon Prime, which is a key selling point for many customers, as Prime eligibility can increase the product visibility and sales, giving their sellers a competitive edge in the market. I think this is like their key marketing feature because a lot of people order on Amazon due to like their Prime shipping, getting their package in 2 days or even now even in the same day. An impact that Amazon's warehouses are equipped with the state-of-the-art technology and logistics systems, and the sellers can benefit from Amazon's expertise in the supply chain management, which allows focus on growing their business rather than managing the logistics. So this means that Amazon's investment in the advanced logistics is one of the most valuable strategic assets, and it can stimulously drives the customer satisfaction, and it can generate a lot of revenue through the seller services. Some of the recommendations I have is addressing the advertising system issues. So resolving the advertising, like reporting correctly and resolving the inventory management challenges. So only stocking on products like as much needed rather than overstocking and having to pay those fees, and continue to maximize the core advantage, which is the logistics and technology that enables the prime eligibility. And for management, the main issue is the worker safety. So according to OSHA, the workers are exposed to unsafe working conditions, such as like lifting heavy objects or heavy boxes, and that leads to lower back injuries and other musculoskeletal disorders. And due to like the demanding work, it could also physically impact the workers. And another thing is they have it crucial to ensure the on-time deliveries because of the 2-day Prime promise, and even now the 1-day delivery. So it kind of like puts more pressure on like the delivery drivers. And Amazon's warehouse impacts to its sellers shipping speed and cost. So the warehouses that are closer to like the major customer bases, it reduces the shipping time, which is why now we sometimes receive our packages within a few hours, and also the 2 days. The shorter shipping distances may translate to lower shipping costs and enhance the customer satisfaction. So since people are receiving their packages quicker, they're more like likely to go to Amazon because they're going to receive it faster. And Some of the recommendations I have is I think Amazon needs to create a more safer working environment for the workers and implement training sessions for the workers and report and medical care. So if anyone's injured, they need to report it and get immediate care, and try to reduce the musculoskeletal disorders by implementing a robust and corporate-wide ergonomic program as emphasized by OSHA, and prioritizing engineering and administrative controls and modifying the work practices and controls.
Okay, so I focused on their information systems, and the issue there is they need to be able to handle daily operations, for example, sales, payroll, or inventory and customer transactions. The importance for this, it's the TPS. There's a transaction processing system, which can record all payments, purchases, shipments, and returns immediately. So the impact for this is when consumers purchase items on Amazon, the TPS system can charge your account for the purchase, record it right then and there, and also update inventory for the entire organization. My recommendation for Amazon is to continue to invest in the newest, most simplest, and easiest systems to create ease for consumers to purchase items conveniently online. So for economics, the issue that arose recently in September 2025 was that the company had to pay $2.5 billion to settle with the Federal Trade Commission because they were accused of tricking consumers into joining their Prime membership. The importance of this is that Amazon has been known for having a strong financial performance, and this would hurt their, finances. On Wall Street, there were 58 analysts, or there are 58 analysts, and 52 of them gave Amazon a strong buy rating, and the remaining 6 recently gave it a moderate buy rating just to be safe. So their reputation is good right now, and they wouldn't want to hurt that. The impact this year for the economy is that their stock gained 19%, and in just the past 6 months, it went up 29%. On November 3rd, its highest this year was $258.60. So my recommendation is that Amazon abstains from using any form of deception, whether it's small print or whatever, to gain more sales, because these tactics can quickly backfire and cause many boycotts. It costs them a lot in court, the $2.5 billion in the end, and can hurt their reputation.
So moving on to the finance part of it, I didn't really find any issues as we just looked at their stock was going strong. But as previously mentioned, they did reduce their corporate workforce, their admin, by about 14,000 roles last month. And this is due to a focus on AI technology. They did have an aggressive hiring because they had a very good boom between 2017 and 2022. So their CEO said that these layoffs were part of a market correction because it's kind of slowed down a little bit. And there are similar markets that have reduced their workforce as well. But although it's claimed to be a correction, these jobs may not come back because of the development of AI and how things are going. So I would recommend to expand jobs that integrate AI so that you don't have to reduce the workforce as much through customer support, quality control, and things that involve the technical support. And I would also recommend some job retraining. So in case someone's position is eliminated, they can go to work in a different position instead of just being, out on their own. And the last thing I would say is not to invest too heavily in being the front runner in the AI race right now, because there's a lot of competitors and they're not necessarily the front runners, and Amazon doesn't need to risk over diversifying itself.
So, in summary, Amazon has quickly transformed itself from an online bookstore into a massive e-commerce retail giant with a vast business diversification and income streams. This is through things like their Amazon Prime Video, AWS, Amazon Web Services, and also purchasing other companies like Whole Foods, Zappos, and Twitch. Currently, they are going through a restructuring with a lot of cuts to corporate jobs and replacing them with offshoring to different countries such as India, or AI to reduce their overhead costs for labor. So during this transitional time, it's important for Amazon to continue growing upwards. They need to continuously improve their logistics and their management and marketing system, how we touched on earlier, and then also improve on their brand image through things like the lawsuit that was discussed earlier to increase their upward trajectory.
This is our works cited page, our survey code, and thank you.